hell did I get so fucking wet? We live? Yeah, are we bullish or bearish BTC? Of course, as soon as I go live, they got the fucking leaf blowers pumping. What are they? We're in Florida. What leaves are you blowing, bro? All right, gentlemen. Let's see. Well, as you can see, we're live from Miami. Got the Miami fit on. You know, the honeys have been in shambles the entire time I've been down here. We're all trying to get a little bit of time with the boy. But we've been locked in. We've been enjoying ourselves, spending some time with the gentleman, and getting incredibly bullish on the markets. So that's the answer for the title of the stream. Are we bullish or bearish BTC in May? Yeah, we're bullish. We're bull to the tits. So I'm just going to give you some updates on my thoughts on the market and how we're positioning. And then, of course, we'll talk more in depth inside of the Discord the way that we have been. We've been playing this beautifully. The downside, the drawdown on altcoins has been brutal. But we called the bounce perfectly. We called the break of trend perfectly. We hit the mid-range on the trend perfectly. Wait, hold on. We gotta cross this fucking street. Oh, buckle out. Hold on. This dickhead's in the middle of the fucking walkway. Yeah, we played this shit perfectly. So let's talk about FOMC. So, bro, are you fucking serious? This guy with the leaf blower has been following me all fucking morning. The entire time I was drinking coffee, having espresso, this guy was blowing the shit out of 2 leaves. It's not even it's Florida, bro. It's palm trees. What fucking leaves are you blowing? Blowing them for... The dude has nothing better to do. So, FOMC meeting is on May 7th, okay? So right now it's priced in that there's not going to be a rate cut. And sure, there will probably be some... what's it called? There's going to be some de-risking heading into FOMC, but I'm not worried about that. That de-risking is going to be your opportunity to actually load up on positions, because what you're going to see happen right after FOMC, once they show that nothing's broken, they don't scare anybody, they don't say anything insane, which we'll see what Jerome does. But as long as they don't do anything stupid, as soon as FOMC meeting's over, you're going to see markets fly, because for the next meeting, it's already priced in that there's going to be a rate cut. There's still being priced in for this year. So anything that you could possibly look at to be bullish or bearish, all indicators, all macro signs, everything that you would want to be, what the fuck, dude, that you would want to be bullish on is bullish right now. That's just the reality of it. And so in all the charts, the way that they got floored out over the last couple of months, just such an aggressive downtrend, such an aggressive de-risking due to the tariffs, you're going to see a similar price action to the upside. That's just the reality of it. For every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction. So for markets to be able to tank that fucking hard for 3 months straight, that means that they could also rip that hard for 3 months straight. So I'm expecting green in May, expecting green in June, expecting green in July at the very least. And it's going to be contingent upon that we don't have a complete breakdown or a complacency shoulder form on equities and on Bitcoin. So finally we're getting some relief, which is good, okay? Now we need follow through. So on Bitcoin, what made me super... What is this lady doing? She's gonna get hit. We need follow through on Bitcoin. So Bitcoin right now, it reclaimed its macro range, which is what we had been talking about on stream for the past couple months. We said we need to get back above the bull market trend line, which we did. Then we need to reclaim the macro range above, and we did. Now we've been sitting inside of it and did multiple daily closes inside of the macro range up top. Huge. Because if you reclaim the range like that, then you would expect to hit range highs again, okay, at the very least. The only issue, the only sticky price that we have to be watching for is going to be 96,500 on Bitcoin. So I'm going to say it again. 96,500 on Bitcoin is going to be the price you want to watch. I'm just walking across the street, dude. Fuck this. This has been the longest wait time to try to cross the fucking street. Hang on. Let's see if you guys see me get tanked on stream here. Alright, fuck these guys. So, the sticky price is going to be 96,500 because that's our naked point of control for that range where most of the volume took place. And so most people are going to be defending their positions there because they're either short from there or they're long from there. Either or, that's going to get defended. It's going to be a sticky point to get past. So we got to get above 96,500 so that we don't form a complacency shoulder on Bitcoin. And on equities, we also need to start reclaiming levels, okay? Now, we've seen it in the past where crypto will lead equities off the floor. This happened in the bear market at the beginning of this cycle. You take a look at the Bitcoin chart, you look at the equities chart from the bear market, 2022, 2023, when we were coming out of it. Bitcoin actually set a higher low and started trending up as equities set a lower low. So they became decoupled for a moment and crypto actually let off the ground. So we're seeing a potential move like that right now where equities are not performing quite as well. And so crypto actually led. Is this open? Nice. Crypto actually led off the floor and should be signaling a market bottom. So right now, I believe the bottom's in on crypto at the very least, okay? If we did come back down lower on something like Ethereum or Bitcoin, because we are going to set a higher high, or a higher low at some point. I don't expect it to be a new low on something like Ethereum. So don't stress out about that. The other big point of confluence is on the others chart. I don't know if I can share my screen on my phone. I'll figure it out. But so the others chart had completely floored out. We kept getting suppressed by a trend line from the Pico top in December on the others chart. This is our altcoin chart. We finally, and I drew the arrows beautifully, we broke the downtrend, which is huge, right? Because we respected this trend all the way down. We broke the downtrend, popped up, and we tagged the mid-range of our macro multi-year range from last cycle, okay? So we came up, we popped up, we tagged it perfectly at the mid-range. That's that pump you saw on altcoins this past weekend, right? On Friday. That was that pump. So now, naturally, we're getting our pullback. Like I said, we flipped that downtrend. We broke through that resistance. Now we're gonna come back down and tag it again and flip it into support, right? So that's the pullback that you saw the last day or two. So you're gonna likely see a pullback into that trend line going into FOMC as people de-risk, right? People are trying to take profits too early and they're trying to, sell their positions even or only down a little bit because they're afraid. So you're going to see it come back down and test that trend line, which I've sent in the Discord multiple times. When you hit that trend line, that's when you shove, okay? Because you flip that shit into support, it's going to bounce off of that shit, rip through the mid-range of that macro 4-year range that we have drawn on the others chart. We're going to go to range highs, okay, which is back where we were at in December. That will be range highs. And then finally, because this will be like the third or fourth tap of that macro range, you're going to break through. Once you break through, that's alt season, because then others market cap will be at new all-time highs. Okay, so that's what we're looking for. We're looking for that others chart to break out to new all-time highs and hit our 1.618 on the fibs. So here's why this is important, because the cycle isn't topped out until you hit new highs. And so back in 2021, whenever we hit the top of that range, and we said the top of that range twice, that's where we rejected from. And then this cycle, 4 years later, we did it. We front ran it the first time in May when others had ripped in 2024. And then the second time that we had hit it was December 2024, right? We tagged the top of the range. Eventually, when you rip up, you hit the top of that range, you're going to get a breakout. That breakout is alt season, right? So that's what we're waiting on. Now, you just got to make sure you're positioned from the lows. You don't want to be the guy buying at the Pico top. You want to be the guy waiting to buy at the Pico top when everything's at new all-time highs and being the exit liquidity for me and the crew inside the Discord. So, I should find a spot to sit at. Figure it out. So, anyways, that's where we're at on those charts. So you can see now the clear winners are what? For altcoins, the clear winners right now are Farcoin, and Based Farcoin. Okay, so I made position in those. I talked about that inside the Discord. So now I'm talking about it on YouTube again. If you want to be positioned in these assets before they start ripping 2-3x off the floor, which Farcoin and these other coins have, then you got to be inside the Discord, because that's whenever I'm talking about them. So I acquired positions in those. And here's the other thing too. Since the lows, Farcoin, the Boys Club, so Pepe, Andy, Wolf, Brett, all these coins are up more than 2x off of the lows, right? So if you were positioning well and you were DCAing, as we were the entire time throughout April, your bags are looking beautiful. Because as opposed to just drawing down the entire way, if you were continuing to add to your positions, bring down your average cost, getting a better entry, these moves off of the low, your bags are looking beautiful. So off of the lows, my bags are up 2-3x from the lows, right? So the big leaders right now are Farcoin and Based Farcoin. Why Based Farcoin? Well, there's something happening on Coinbase wallet where normies don't understand the difference between coins on Solana and coins on base chain. So they're buying Farcoin on the Coinbase wallet, but it's actually Based Farcoin. Same thing happened with Based Pepe. So when Pepe was ripping last year, Based Pepe was ripping too, because it's literally the fucking same exact meme coin, but on the base chain. And so all the normies were going to the Coinbase wallet and just buying it on the base chain without even knowing it. So just a little side note for you to get a little extra multiplier on your bags. If you're holding Farcoin, hold a little bit of Based Farcoin, because that shit's going to rip just by accident, because people don't even know the difference. The normies are just going to buy that shit on Coinbase wallet without knowing it's not the original. So Based Farcoin are hitting right now. You definitely want to get rid a lot of the old altcoin tickers that you guys have been holding, the shitters that have no staying power, because on this next leg up, mindshare is going to be gone. There's going to be no attention on those coins. You don't want to be holding those coins. I actually had somebody ask me, they just joined the Discord last week. He finally got in after he said he was up over 2x off of his Brett entry whenever I told him to enter. He was up over 2x on a nice position. He's like, oh shit, I got all this extra profit now. I'm going to take some profit. I said, yeah, go for it. And he's like, what should I rotate into? Should I rotate into this bag that I was holding for the past year, 2 years? And I said, you can a little bit, just to bring down your average cost for the asset so you can exit sooner. But you don't want to be bag holding some of these altcoins through the rest of the cycle that you've had for a year or 2 years now. If it doesn't have any staying power, if you don't see it leading off of the lows with some big moves like we had on Friday, if your altcoin didn't pump hard on Friday, Thursday last week, whenever altcoins made a nice little rally, that's how you know you don't want to be holding that ticker anymore, or you don't want to be adding to that position. You have to be getting movement off of the lows as soon as it's risk on, right? As soon as we see risk on in the market, what tickers are moving? Those are the ones that you hold. So what are moving? Boys Club, Pepe pumping off, showing incredible strength, pumping off the lows. Andy and Wolf pumping 2x off the lows, 3x off the lows. Coin pumping off the lows. Hype pumping off the lows, which we all talked about inside the Discord weeks ago. So these are your risk on indicators. These are the positions that you should be accumulating, right? And then, of course, there's some other ones that, again, we're not talking about yet on YouTube, but I'm going to have inside the Discord that we're going to accumulate as well. But you got to clear out your watch list. A lot of these coins that you're holding from the last leg up in 2024 are not going to move this leg up. That is, they're not going to make new all-time highs. Don't fall into the camp of somebody that had an altcoin rip to new highs, go up way higher than it ever should have, draws down 80%, and then you think, okay, now it's going to make new all-time highs again. I'm just going to wait till that happens. If you look at all of these dino coins, these tickers from 2017 cycle, 2021 cycle, where they had these big blow-off tops, they draw down 80%, 90%, right, from a cycle or 2 cycles ago, and then you see what they did this cycle. None of those tickers, none of those dino coins have made new all-time highs, right, in 4 or 5 years. So that's going to happen to a lot of your altcoins this cycle. You're going to see, you're just waiting, thinking that you're going to get these massive blow-off tops again on these tickers, and it's just not going to happen. They're just not going to make new all-time highs. So you got to be you can't be married to bags just to be married to them, right? Yes, hodling is the play, but not the wrong tickers. You can't hodl everything and expect everything to make new all-time highs again. You got to be smart about what actually has staying power. The Boys Club is one of the few groups of tickers that actually have staying power. Why do they have staying power? Because Pepe is this cycle ticker. So it's from this cycle, therefore it's still going to make all-time highs as Bitcoin and ETH make new all-time highs. But not only is it a ticker from this cycle, but because Pepe has staying power, because it's the second largest meme coin, third largest meme coin in the market, behind SHIB and Doge. So does the Boys Club. The Boys Club is going to have staying power. So Brett is always going to have a speculative bid on it. Andy's always going to have a speculative bid. Wolf is always going to have a speculative bid because of Pepe, right? And they're also now being adopted as ways to lever up on Ethereum without actually having liquidation price. So instead of going on perpetuals and, opening up a 50x leverage long like a fucking degenerate and try to hit a, $100, levy perp for $100,000, you can just buy Andy and Wolf and be levered up for 6, 8x ETH. It's the same thing as holding it, just being levered ETH 4x, 5x, 6x, because they'll do that of Ethereum. So if Ethereum goes up 2x, Andy goes up 12x, 10x, right? If Ethereum goes up 2x, Wolf goes up 10x, 12x. That's just how they move. So they're also being adopted as ways to lever up on Ethereum. So again, always going to have a speculative bid, because what other tickers actually have that? What other tickers actually have that, right? Being a beta to an alpha is, bullish, because if the ticker is going to trade in a way that's predictable, that's attractive to people, right? Most meme coins, everything on Solana, for example, right? It's all mind share. As soon as the attention is gone, it's not moving, right? None of them are purely correlated to the price action of Solana. They're purely correlated to the fucking apes and jeets on Solana, right? Pepe Andy, Wolf, Brett, those are truly correlated to ETH. Truly. So if Ethereum goes up, they go up. If Ethereum goes down, they go down. Very simple. So if you know how to trade Ethereum well, and you know how to trade the Boys Club well, you're going to make a shit ton of money on those assets. That's why those have remained my major positions on ETH this entire cycle. I've not changed them because they're so easy to trade. It's just ETH is going up. Am I bullish on ETH? Great. Load up on these puppies. Great. Take profit. I think ETH is going to stall out here. Bang. Take profits. Write it back down. Cool. Accumulate at the lows again. Write it back up. Very simple, very easy, very comfortable to trade. So, because we're not looking to day trade. We're looking to invest, hold, and basically, ride these swings up and down, right? I'm not sitting here on the computer all day looking at the charts and trying to day trade and set up to the, no, fuck no. Accumulate at the lows, cheat at the highs, make big swings on my trades, 2, 3, 4, 5x on my positions. Beautiful. Print, right? So, yeah, clear up the watch list, right? Get rid of the tickers that don't have mind share anymore, or don't have a speculative bid long term, okay? And then be repositioned for this next leg up, all right? Couple last macro indicators that I'm looking at, and then we'll jump off of here. Thursday stream, I'll be back in the lab, so it'll be charts and all that shit. I just want to make sure I give everybody an update. So DXY falling off a cliff, good, bullish, right? US dollars nuking, assets pump, great. So that's good. Interest rates, okay? Going to be interest rate cuts this year, good, bullish. Tariff war, trade war, cooling down, good, bullish. Other reserve banks across the world printing money, stimulating, good, bullish. Global M2, global liquidity. What did we say? What have we been saying for months? It's a leading indicator. It's a leading indicator. It leads. Global M2 goes to new all-time highs. A couple months later, Bitcoin goes to new all-time highs, 100,000, 110,000. Global M2 nukes a bit. Laggard. You see Bitcoin distribute at the top of that range. Then we get a nuke in altcoins. Okay. Global M2 rips to new all-time highs again. Pumping right now. If you look at global M2, right? Liquidity. Pumping. What's happening with altcoins and Bitcoin finally after a couple of months? It's a leading indicator, so it takes time for it to catch up. You see these things start to move back up, okay? So, in my opinion, it would not make sense for global M2 liquidity conditions to go to new all-time highs. There'd be more money than there's ever been in the past. And to continue to move higher with the US starting to cut interest rates, which is going to exacerbate that global M2 rise even more so. And then on top of all that, if Pompino can get the Federal Reserve to end QT and maybe even start QE, it's game over. Then we're flying. We're going to fly. Okay? So, the macro, there's nothing that says to me, oh yeah, recession, bear market, etc. You get bear markets, multi-year bear markets and recessions when interest rates are rising, getting higher, money is harder to borrow, less transacting taking place, economy slowing down like you saw in 2022 and 2023. Why? Because we had to hike interest rates faster than ever before because of how much we printed during COVID. Those are the conditions in which you get bear market. We're doing the exact opposite. We're decreasing interest rates, increasing monetary supply, while other reserve banks across the world are doing that, which I've heard some people say that, oh, it doesn't matter what China and these other reserve banks do with their monetary. It's all based on the... No, not true. Everybody invests in crypto. Everybody invests in U.S. equity markets. Other nations stimulating does matter, okay? So China's stimulating because right now they're in an economic recession, right? Which is also why Trump put on the tariffs when he did strategically, because he knows China is vulnerable, but they're stimulating, right? All these nations are starting to stimulate. I don't see conditions for a multi-year bear market. It just does not. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong, right? But probabilistically, from a probability standpoint, what's the correct decision? The correct decision is to be long, is to be long here. Okay, so that's what we're going to do. We're going to be long. So those are the updates on the market. I'm in Miami right now. I'm going to jump off of this. I'm going to go do some more business. About to go out to a lunch spot to meet somebody here. So I'm going to take care of that. For those of you inside the Discord, get with me. Ask me about positioning. Ask me about what we should be accumulating. Let me know. I'll tell you what to do with your portfolios. We'll get more of you guys printing. Shout out to the people that are up 2x already off of the lows that entered when we told you. Congrats. But there's going to be a lot more than that. It's not... We're just getting started, player. We don't just do 3 months of absolute nuke price action just for 1 week of relief or 1 bounce of relief. Nah. It's just getting started, player. All right? So... I can't see the chat, by the way, on all the live streams because we're on X, we're on fucking YouTube, Kick. I can't see the chat, so I'm sure you guys are asking me questions because you typically... Oh, hold on. Actually, I can see the chat. Russ Clut. No, wait. No, I can't. No, it doesn't show me. So, DM me on Instagram at Priambro. At Priambro. 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 All right, a little play on my name, right? Genius. So Priambro on Instagram, DM me if you have any questions. And then if you're not already inside of the Taylor's Code, the link should be in the YouTube description. It'll be in my X bio. It'll be my Instagram bio. It's thetaylorscode.com. Join as a gentleman. Join as a professional. I would recommend gentlemen so you get access to the private crypto plays portion of the Discord where you're going to see my portfolio. When I'm buying, when I'm selling, I'll get with you one-on-one if you want. We'll go through your portfolio. We'll do Zoom calls. I do live trainings inside the Discord as well. I'm teaching you how to trade perps, how to get on chain, how to do everything basically that 99% of people don't know how to do, which is therefore the opportunity for you to make a shit ton of money, right? Opportunity lies where there's not a lot of people who know what's going on. As soon as everybody knows what's going on and everybody can do it, the opportunity is lost, right? So get inside, we'll get you printing cash. I'm going to tell you right now, the $99 a month it is to join as a gentleman into the Discord is quite literally zero. It's nothing compared to what you're going to make, okay? So remember, think like an investor. Is this $99 a month better in my bank account or better inside the Discord where I can take $500, $1,000, $10,000, $100,000, whatever it is that you are planning to invest, regardless of the size. You 2, 3, 4, 5x that money, 6x that money. You think that $99 a month was really worth it? Fuck yeah, it was. You kidding me? You would have spent that $99 for the month at fucking McDonald's. Be honest with yourself. McDonald's ain't gonna get you paid. McDonald's is gonna give you fucking diabetes and make you sick. All right, so quit spending that money out to eat. Join a network. Join a Discord of professionals that are actually fucking winning. Driving the cars you want to drive. Living the life you want to live. Traveling to the places you want to travel to. Join that team, huh? All right. All right, ladies and gentlemen. Peace. Appreciate y'all. DM me if you got any questions. And then we'll be back live on Thursday with another Ultimate Market Professionals. I'll be back in the lab, so we'll get the charts pumping. All right? Let's fucking work, gentlemen. All right? Peace.